Hey, we're back.
Yeah. And I invited Jeff again. Um, so Jeff, if you're just kind of waiting to see if something like that will pop up and that, but anyway. Yeah. Hey, Blake. Yeah, I'm trying this out. Brian, what's up? Give people a chance to kind of filter back in here. I don't know. Maybe Blake knows if you can only do two people. Because when I was on here before, and I see when you pop up, Chris, because there's black on the bottom of my screen. So I'm seeing like a two-tier screen. So like my picture up here, and then down below it was black saying waiting for guest. So then I saw you pop up, so I hit add. But then now if Jeff's hitting the link, I don't know if he's not getting in or not. Um, but nothing's popping up to let me know that he's trying to get in. So maybe this YouTube thing only lets you do maybe one or to two people, one person. I don't know. So I'm sorry about that. But anyway, yeah. Can you hear me this time, Chris?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, Jeff just said that it says that you're at your max.
Oh, so you can only have
So,
two people, right?
yeah. Yep. I can hop out if you want Jeff to come in.
Yeah, and then I'll be talking to you on the phone tomorrow and that stuff too. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you want.
Yep. I'm gonna hop off because I think it's close to 11 o'clock here. So
Okay,
I,
cool.
I gotta get some rest. So,
All right.
all right,
Yeah.
Mark. I'll talk to you
Can't wait to
later.
see you again. Yeah. Good times.
I'll see you at the No Names. Safe
All right.
travels. Safe
Cool.
travels to everybody else too. So, all right. See you guys. I need to figure out how to get out of here.
A couple old guys on the internet.
Exactly. Leave.
And then Jeff left. So Jeff, if you're on there, see if you can't hit that thing again. There he is. Hit that thing again. And then if you there he is. Hit that thing again. Jeff, you might mute
Give me
your
a
computer.
second. I gotta turn my computer down.
You bet.
There he is. Hit that thing again. Give me a second. I gotta turn. Damn, what a lag! What lag if you got your phone and then your computer on at the same time?
Yeah. So for anybody that made it over from the last chat, this is Mopar Jeff 604 on YouTube. Anyway, just seeing if anyone else is coming over. We'll give them a little bit of time, but we can kind of go ahead. So I feel pretty honored, Jeff. This is one of the few times that you're actually on camera.
I'm telling you, my YouTube debut.
Blake from Bad Tree Productions says hello.
How's it going, Blake?
Yeah. So anyway, this is Mopar Jeff 604. If you've watched my channel like in the last year, I've seen he's helped me a lot. He's basically building my dream car for me, and then has helped me sort the Jack Pine Savage out. I just taken the car over to his place over the weekend while I was working, and he did some fine tuning stuff on it to get the car ready to race.
Yeah, that was 8 hours of work.
Yeah.
So
I think a few people are starting to kind of come back, but
yeah, the way my stuff's set up here, it's like I'm looking at my computer and there's like a 5-second lag time here.
yeah.
So, anyways, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of had a bunch of stuff going on, so I didn't get in till late here. But I didn't even get to watch your first hour on here.
Oh yeah, I was just hanging out with Chris. He's a buddy of mine. We've been on YouTube about the same amount of time, and been friends for quite a while, but never got to meet him until No Name Nationals, in person. So, and it was like hanging out with your brother,
And I
so that
got
was the best part. That's part of the reason this event's so fun. It's like you kind of know people from watching their videos, and then when you meet them in person, it's pretty much the same vibe. Because most people are who they are on camera and everything. So when you're just kind of hanging out and everything, but
yeah, still a long ways to drive.
yeah. We'll have to get you out there one year and teach us guys some stuff.
Well, I figure you just need to get some of these guys from up this way or in Iowa to meet up at the concrete track and race down
Yeah,
there, tri-state.
yeah. What do you think, John? John Wilburn's just joined the chat. So, John, do you think that's an idea? I know Jeffers has been great for us and it's central for most people, but they have all those drag week ripoffs and stuff now, like Sick Week and all that stuff. So, maybe could do like a No Name Nationals, like north or east.
That'd be nice. Like I said, it's a little far for me to drive. I mean, we do a couple races a year that we're doing that, you know, 10, 11 hour drives, but it's one of them we actually get paid to do it now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's definitely going to take some fuel to get down there. That's for sure.
yeah, especially with, $3.90 a gallon kind of sucks.
Mm, yeah. Well, and I went to pick that trailer up, thinking that I got one of those lighter weight trailers.
You got the happy one?
Well, they gave me one that's not a tilt bed, but it's a 22-foot implement trailer again. And I'm like, damn it, I was like, but anyway, they thought that maybe I hit the wrong button
Your poor,
because I
your
usually
poor,
ordered the other trailer. So,
your
but
your
yeah,
poor little half ton's gonna have a hell of a time for 11 hours.
I know I'm gonna burn that thing up.
Well, then it'll be time to actually get a real truck and get a 3/4 ton.
Yeah, seeing if I can pull my chat up on my other iPad again, like I did before.
Well, that's what I'm doing, but it's like I said, it's like a 3-4 minute lag time. But this is the first time I've ever did this live chat, so
Yeah. So, guys, forgive us if we're kind of lagging on the chat. It looks like more people are starting to come back in, and
Bad Tree said they're trying to do something in Iowa. I like that all concrete track at Tri-State. I've raced down there a few times, so um, I've had my dragster down there a bunch of times. It's been a few
yeah,
years, but um,
yeah.
yeah, if they did some event down there, I would go to that all day long. I mean, that's only 3.5 hours for me.
Well, you got so many guys that could make it to that one too. I mean, like if we did like sort of a on the road to No Name Nationals or something, kind of like not really preliminary type races, but get a group of guys together that are going to go to the No Name Nationals and have them meet at Tri-State because you got like Blake and the Bad Tree guys, you got Jerry Racing, you got 318 Will Run, and I think even Jeff from Two Hacks Garage is able to make that track too. I think it's a little bit of a stretch for all of us. I know for me, was it like 4 hours or
Yeah, it's in that three
three
and a
and a
half.
half? Yeah. Hey,
So,
Ryan. Ryan's here. Ryan from Streetcar Chronicles and Mike Concho.
like I said, haven't been on any of these YouTube stuff. So, I mean, obviously, all the guys that have watched my videos, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm
And
just
this would be a good time if you guys have any questions about the 63 Belvedere or the Jack Pine. Jeff's kind of he's the brains and I'm the, I don't know what I am. I'm the guy that takes the pictures.
63 was a nightmare. That's what it was.
What's that?
The 63 was a nightmare. Every inch I went, I opened more of a can of worms.
So here's what you do, guys. You go to a friend and say, "Hey, look, would you want to put inboard springs and uh, uh, Man, mini tub my car for me. Easy peasy, in and out. And then you go there, "Oh, by the way, I need new front floor pans. Oh, I guess I need middle floor pans. Oh, I guess I need rear floor pans. Oh, I guess I need a trunk
Yeah,
pan."
it was everything.
You fell for the oldest trick in the book, Jeff.
Well, paid for it though.
What's that?
I think you paid for it though.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the car turned out awesome. I've never been happier, so
It ain't done yet. I still got
no.
to do on it, but
Yeah,
we'll get it there. Like all the other ones, it's just I mean that was the third car that I worked on in a year, so
yeah.
I'm on the
Well, that's
fourth.
like, for those of you guys who are kinda tuning into the live here, and you might some of you probably already subscribed to Mopar Jeff 604. If you don't, I bought a set of headers from Jeff, what, about a year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, about two.
Yeah, and then so I go to pick him up at his shop, and I'm looking around, I'm seeing all these badass hot rods laying around, and unfortunately, he'd seen my channel before, so, he was asking me all kinds of advice on how to do stuff, and I'm like, "Man, Jeff, I'm a pretty busy guy, I don't have time to help guys out as far as building cars."
I
I see
just
your son back there.
I'm I'm just kind of the same way. I don't. Yeah, my my 12-year-old. I'm kind of
Yeah,
the same way though. I just don't have. It's hard to do the videos. That's my biggest problem. So I do what I can when I can. I mean, I still got a bunch of videos of the blue car um, that I haven't got up yet, just
yeah,
because I just haven't had time to put the video together. I mean, it's
yeah,
so much easier just doing a one take raw video. But then when
yeah,
you got all them videos of the racetrack and the car going down the track, I mean, it's just to me, it's kind of hard to get them put together, especially when I'm not a extremely savvy computer person.
but
So
there's guys like me when I had my Coronet, that was gonna be a never-ending project on YouTube, and then it's like, as soon as I meet Jeff, I look at his channel, and then, like, within the last year, you built what? Your Valiant, the
yeah,
Black Duster, the Blue Duster, and my Belvedere. Am
I
I missing one there? Oh, and you helped your old man out with the Comet,
oh yeah, and yeah, I think that's all. Well, I mean, we had a few other little things in between, but
Yeah,
it's just you know it's good having people that help out too. I mean, my body guy is awesome. You
yeah,
know, the buddy of mine, he did the body work at in my garage. So,
yeah,
and he did the body work on the kid's black duster at my shop.
yeah,
So, I mean, it makes it a lot easier. Plus, he's cheap. He does awesome work, and he keeps his prices down.
yeah.
So, if it wasn't for stuff like that, there's no way I could get that stuff done that quick. You know,
Well, just when we were building the Belvedere, yeah, you having your pipeline of parts and guys and stuff like that was able to help that come together. Your guy that narrowed the rear end for us, and the guy that came and did the headliner, and the fact that they come to your shop to help with that stuff is awesome.
yeah, it's just been doing this stuff for a long time. So you just kind of meet people and the guy that does rear end narrowings for me, I mean, you just can't find anybody to do them. I mean, I bring him a housing, tell him what I need, and he cuts it down. He charges me $200. I
Yeah,
mean, he makes it perfectly straight. He puts it in his jig and stuff. And I mean, how many places will do that?
mm,
So, I mean, it's nice finding a few places. I mean, I'd tell you who it is on here, but I don't know if he wants it out.
yeah.
Especially at the kind of price I just said. He probably ain't going to do that for everybody.
Yeah, well, that's it too. It's the inside track, and it's also trade.
Yeah.
You do stuff for them. Whereas a guy like me, I don't really have the skills to kind of trade or barter. So
Oh no, we don't. We know. We watched you put front tires on your car.
it's. They were just talking in the chat about like how if you let video build up and then how it's hard to go back and edit it because you got a certain amount of footage in there somewhere that you want to put out, but you can't remember which clip it's in. So then
Yeah.
you wind up going through all your footage just trying to find that one clip, and you just get kind of lost in where you're at in the whole process. But
Yeah.
like you were saying, you have all that footage of the blue duster you're trying to put together. And it's like the more you kind of try to put in it, the more complicated it gets. And
Well, that's like I said. I was like, most of my videos, except for like the last two or three of them, are literally one take shots. I do my deal, talk through them, and I mean, I don't even go through and rewatch them. I just post them.
mm,
I don't know. It's to me that's easier, but they look raw, and that's why I say that.
yeah,
This is a one take shot. Here you go. Hopefully it works for you.
yeah,
Um, and like I said, the other thing is I'm not a how to channel. I mean, there's more than enough people out there that know how to do other stuff, and I already made videos. I'm just using YouTube more for a place to put my videos.
yeah.
Keep 'em off my phone, and if people like watching them, I mean, hey, I mean, that's great. I mean, I hope I do good enough work where people like them,
Mm.
so, and
Well, and then too, like when you go to the track and you try to put together a track video, you're just trying to get your car down the track. You're just trying to make your runs and
well,
all the stuff
especially,
hustling to do at the time, and then you're trying to think of an idea to put onto the video.
well,
Um,
my biggest problem is just going with people, and I keep forgetting like bring my cameras with or my GoPro, and then I don't even turn it on because I'm too busy working on cars. I wonder
yeah.
why.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, you've got your car there. I don't know why you have so much problems, Jeff.
Yeah,
Maybe it's the guy in the pit next to you. That keeps.
it's somebody. It's always somebody else's fault. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so, I mean,
But
yakking with each other here and not looking through. That's the one thing I kind of hate with live streams is
yeah.
we're,
Well, my last one, I was
we're
able to
yakking
pull the
with each
live
other
up on
and
my.
not looking at everybody else's stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Like Blake said, sometimes you film stuff, and then by the time you've worked on it for a while, or you've been thinking about it in the background, you just kind of get burned out and tired of it. I've done that too.
well,
But I know, like when I do my car show videos, I just walk around and I'm just concentrating on the photography. Those videos are pretty easy for me to make, and I like making those. And when I went to like No Name Nationals, it kind of dawned on me. It's like you got to make choices sometimes. Am I going to hang out and have a good time and enjoy the moment for myself as it is right now, or I'm going to try to be a videographer and try to capture every minute of it and put it up on the internet, hoping that other people will enjoy it and not really enjoying it myself. But
well, that's kind of why I said the way I've been doing my raw ones is I mean, they're videos for me. I mean,
mm,
I guess I'm not trying to be monetized or anything like I told you originally. I was like,
yeah,
it's you like the cars, so I was like, well, shit, we'll just put them on there.
yeah,
See how it goes.
I'll
But
be
that's
right.
why I really haven't pushed much.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Just a second.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Anybody got a question? I'll answer it. I don't even know who's on, so. Uh, but anyways, any of you guys that are on here that are going to be at the No Name National, help Mark out. I think I got everything pretty good on his car, but um, you know, he's a little on the inexperienced side, I guess would be the way to say it. So car rolls though; it goes pretty good. I mean, I think we kind of got that car about at its max. So I don't know how much more it's got in it, or if it could actually make it go any faster.
What's that?
We're talking shit about you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the new turbo, I mean,
Told you we should just put my alcohol motor in that thing. We
yeah,
could
that would have surprised some
we
people.
could we could have really twisted that front end and ripped the radiator out of it.
Broke something more than a radiator, probably. Yeah, we're putting that in the Belvedere though. Next year, 2024, John Wilburn,
Yeah.
going to be the Alcohol Nationals. But no, like part of the reason I found YouTube in the beginning was because I wanted to kind of start doing some stuff on my own cars, and you watch videos and when I had that cornet, I was playing around with stuff that I kind of watched on video. That, but there's a difference between kind of trying to do it on your own just by watching a video and then meeting someone like you, Jeff. Like where I probably slowed the Belvedere project down by trying to help, but at the same time, I was really thankful that you let me take time to help, cut out metal and do stuff and learn a little bit more about the tools and seeing how things actually like are done. So
Well, just to let everybody know, I mean, it was an experience.
I,
It was
I only ruined a few chords.
it was very interesting watching Mark try to use an air chisel and back at him trying to take the steel up. I'm like, dude, you don't want to do that. I know you're in the medical field, but you don't want to jam that in your knee and take a bone out with it.
Yeah.
So it was a little interesting for a little while, but I mean, he got it. I mean, by the time he
Yep.
got to the other side, he zipped that one right out. But man, that first side, for the first couple hours, it was definitely interesting watching him work. But
And
again, he never used an air chisel in his life, so I mean, I
yeah,
get it. It'd
but
be like on his job. There's no way I'd be able to do his job. I'd pass out from the needles.
so when I first met Jeff, and he commented on the video when I took the jack pine to Brainerd, mentioned the suspension wasn't working very good. So he said, "Yeah, just get some right weight springed rear super stock springs and those shocks, and bring them over, and we'll just whip them in real quick, and we'll put in your spool." And he goes, "We'll be done in 4 hours." So I go over there, and it was one of those deals where I worked the night before. So I go there thinking it's going to be like 4 hours and still be able to get a nap and then go to work. But uh, when I was trying to take off my Unilug Kragers, each wheel takes me about about an hour. So that's why it's a running joke with me and Jeff. It's like I turned that 4 hour job into like a full 8 hour job and wound up driving straight to work.
Well,
So
I
if you
started.
wonder why he keeps giving me crap about my Krager wheels, it's because of
It's
how
because
long it takes me.
give him crack. Tell him that my 12-year-old could get him on faster than he can.
Yeah, he can. That's I've gotten better though. I can
Yes,
actually
you
I
have
can
gotten
give him
better, but I mean,
a break.
you're gonna have to change your rims to the old or the newer ones with just a regular lug nut on it, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but you have to order those, and then you got to wait for them. And you're like, we need the wheels now. We need the wheels now.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, it would be nice to be able to get wheels that just have the right bolt pattern.
I got you. So, I have a job. What's this one? 20-minute job on Bolton away. Oh,
Yeah.
who's the old guy with you, man? A rooster. Yeah, look who's talking. Hey, don't give me no crap. This is the first time I've been online, so I mean, they got me out here. I was gonna try to do the um, what's the guy behind the fence thing?
Oh yeah, yeah. When we were filming, Jeff had always done just filming, from his point of view. So he'd never been on camera before, and he wasn't sure how much he wanted to be on camera while I was filming like, my videos. So I would always try to, if you go back and watch any of the Belvedere videos, notice that it's just hands, or it's a glimpse of just shoulder in his hat, and stuff like that. So his wife made a comment. It was like Wilson being behind the fence, So we every time we were joking, I would say, "Hey, I got to shoot my Wilson footage now." So I
Yeah.
would try to angle my camera so Jeff wasn't on camera, but I could kind of catch what he was doing. So it was pretty fun. And that's where like
We were gonna keep that up, but then I did that the last video I did. I was like, with
yeah,
chopping all them videos up, I needed to talk on it. So I was like, you know what, screw it. We'll just sit in. So hopefully
yeah,
that worked out. I mean, I
mm,
nobody gave me any bad comments on it, so obviously it was all right.
yeah, yeah.
So, so now you just got to figure out how to get more people on here. Since it's only two, how them guys getting 4 and 5 in there?
Well, they're using StreamYard. So
Oh,
they have a computer, and then you can get like a free StreamYard thing where you can have up to 6 people on, and then you pay more to be able to have more people. So for like YouTube, I think they're just kind of breaking into this, because they noticed that people were doing all the screen yards, and I think they're probably trying to figure out a way to have you pay more to be able to have more
Oh my god.
people on or something like that, which is kind of a bummer. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of nice because you can have a one-to-one conversation, kind of do more interview style type stuff, um, which sometimes might be a little bit more concise than some of the other live streams where you have so many people. But it's always fun to just hang out with a group of guys too.
Yeah. So maybe on the next one I'll be able to answer a few more questions. I don't see a bunch of questions popping up there. I don't even know how many people we got in here.
I got 11 people in here right now,
Well,
and
I mean, has anybody got any questions for me, even on the new car? I mean, I just popped, if you watch my videos, the car I'm doing now is a 70 Duster with the injected alcohol motor in it. Oh, got the Barracuda running.
yeah, big block 402. They've got like a early like first gen Barracuda that they put I think a 340 in. It sounds pretty healthy. It looks
Yeah.
pretty good too.
I just see Barracuda and I keep looking at my 68 fastback sitting there. One of these days, I'm going to get to that car.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I like that one too. That's pretty nice. I swear it looked like at first I was wondering if you wound up with the one of those. Remember that show where they would go to people's houses and get their cars running for them?
oh,
There
yeah.
was one where they did a Barracuda, like a 67 like fastback Barracuda that was that color.
Oh,
And I was like, I wonder if you wound up with the one from that show, but I think you had that one longer.
no, that car in particular, I bought it from a guy in Canada because I guess Canada changed the rules on their street cars, and it was no longer going to be able to be a street car. The problem is that car was built back in the mid to late 70s as a drag car, so it's been a drag car its whole life. So it just I bought it from him. I got it cheap, which was nice. It was already rear halved with a 4 link in it. It was already a big block car. It actually, and it's originally a 68 Formula S 4 speed 340 car.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good deal. And then, I bought that 4 years ago. And it's still sitting in the same spot because I got all these other projects. So,
Yeah.
life gets in the way with a lot of stuff. And when you got 9 cars, it kind of takes a while. And, kids that want cars. And that last one we built for the wife, the Duster. So,
Yeah.
and then, of course, I got my dragster that's just sitting there waiting its turn, to get its turbos finished up on it.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of stuff. I just don't got a lot of time. And then running my own business doesn't help either. So, I mean, I get some time, but not a lot.
Yeah.
And plus, I
So
don't take the back seat when, I got paying people wanting me to do their stuff.
yeah. Well, people got to see the Blue Duster pretty good. They got to see the back of it in my videos.
Uh, that's what I told Joe. That's what he'd see if I came down.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that
So,
was funny. If you guys go back to my test and tune at Rock Falls video, you'll see Jeff Weiss Duster. It's a full 70 Duster. And the first time I raced him, you just see him keep pulling me just the whole way, just nonstop pulling. And then the last one, I got kind of cocky and I thought I was actually doing pretty good. And then he did the old at the very end, pass me.
well, and what you didn't tell him in your video, which if mine ever comes out and I finish it up, I'll explain a little better. So that Blue Duster still had an issue. It was breaking up about 5,800 RPMs all the way to max, which is 65, 66. It was breaking up. Well, we made a couple passes with it, and the MSD box has an issue. All of a sudden, a retard 20 degrees went out of it. I couldn't get the car to start unless I cranked it and then flicked the ignition on, and then it would start. So it was
Yeah.
like having a lock distributor, but I don't have a lock distributor in there. So, but the car was also breaking up. So every time you see me driving away from Mark, I'm driving away with it spitting and sputtering. So, I mean, that's kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong, that motor makes a lot more horsepower, but,
Yeah.
the last run in particular, like he was talking about, if you actually watch the video close, I didn't have a hood on it. So I made one pass with that car, and we went past the 8th mile. The only reason why I was running 8th mile is because it was trying to rip the hood off the car. I only had 4 hood pins in it, and it's got one of them super lightweight race hoods. So I got to put a few more hood pins in. And then, anyways, we took the hood off, and I took Mark's little air cleaner, little 4-inch thing that he uses for transporting the car around. So, this baby little puny little air cleaner, and I stuck it on there because you have to have an air cleaner on a carbureted car without a hood to go down the racetrack. Yeah, that thing choked the car down 2.5 tenths. So that's why you didn't see me until right at the end on that last quarter-mile pass, because the car was struggling a little.
Well, that's because I took you to school at the tree, Jeff.
Oh, you really did. If you remember right, I redlined it. So I actually left before you did. I mean, I still ran a faster number, but just barely. Trust me, I was like, "What the?" And of course the car was just struggling. But anyways, at some point we'll get that one figured out completely. It's still got a few new car blues. I mean, a little bit of tuning yet. I mean, it we're switching the MSD box out, so hopefully that fixes it. And then after that, we'll just kind of every little thing. I mean, the cars, you can race the car right now. It's just got that little break up between at the top end of each gear. So,
Yeah.
but it still runs a 1050. So I mean, it ain't horrible.
Yeah.
So
There's guys in the chat talking about packing. I know John said he was packing up to head out, and then someone else was here getting ready to leave for the event tomorrow.
but most of them guys live down there, don't they?
They're coming from all over. Like Chris, who was on here earlier, he's from Pennsylvania, so he's driving all the way. Tim, 72 Demon, was talking about he's getting packed up and leaving tomorrow. Yeah, I'm
So,
going to get in Wednesday too.
so Bad Tree was talking about a 2-step. Just decided to stop working today.
Yeah.
That's a last minute thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things me and Jeff have been talking about doing to the Jack Pine once I finally upgrade the drive shaft and everything. Want to start using the trans brake, setting up a 2-step and everything.
Yeah.
But that car needs more wiring fixes.
Well, and they're talking about an MSD box and stuff, and that's what's wrong with it. Mine's either an MSD box or it's a coil. So the only reason why I'm kind of pushing toward the MSD box is because the car was starting just fine for 3 runs, and then all of a sudden, the sputtering was getting a little bit worse, and then all of a sudden the car wouldn't start, and but I could get it to turn the ignition off and crank over just fine. But then you put the ignition on, and it was like you had a ton of advance in it. So it's definitely something goofy in that box, and it's one I bought used from somebody. So I got a 7AL3 box we're gonna put in it. And someone's got everything in it. So, but that car is supposed to be just a straight foot brake car. I built that car to go to the races that they're racing foot brake only cars, no gizmos, no trans brake stuff. So
Blake, I'll see your 3 coils and match it with 3 radiators.
yeah, I'm telling you, radiators. I've never had a problem with a radiator ever until I meet Mark's car.
No.
So, and I haven't pressure tested mine yet. He just brought it back. I'm gonna put it on I'm gonna pressure test it and dunk it in my dog's kiddie pool. So we'll see where it got cracked. So if it's sitting in enough spot, I can weld aluminum. So I'm just gonna weld it back up. But it just depends on where it cracked. But yeah,
Rooster.
we rubber isolated as a radiator now. So I mean, it shouldn't crack anything. It's just not the way I would like to leave the car. I mean, I think that car needs to get braced up a little bit. I mean, a 150 60-foot time on 9-inch tires, it's in a bolt-in roll cage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and a bolt-in frame ties. At some point, everything's tweaking on it.
Yeah.
So I think it just needs to be welded up and put in, everything just welded in so it's solid.
Yeah.
What's this? This is not what I wanted you to say, damn it.
Oops.
They're talking about going through St. Louis and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, but
I grew
anyway,
up around East St. Louis. I used to live in a town called Bethalto. It's like near Alton, but that was back when I was like 15, and I've never wanted to go back to Louis.
oh, Rooster wants me to talk about the story on that Duster title, dude. Crazy stuff. So I sold him a Duster, and it was my next project. We were going to do a car that we're going to put together, and what I do is I put cars together and I also sell them too. So I mean, we do street rod ones, and I'm an A body guy, so they're all Dusters, Dart Sports, Demons, whatever. But I had another one done that was ready to go. I think you had a short clip of it on one of your videos, that yellow and primered one that I had.
Mm.
So I sold that to Rooster, and we had everything, but the title. So we send in all the paperwork, get everything done on it and stuff, and we get plates and the registration in the mail, but no title. Well, 3 months later, finally we were calling back saying, "What the hell's going on?" Well, yeah, the state of Minnesota decided to go on vacation, and at the bottom of the pile. So we're still waiting, but they guaranteed we'd have it within 3 weeks, and that was like a week ago. So, but it's weird. I mean, why wouldn't you get everything else when you get the title and the registration? I mean, you get the registration for the car and the license plate in the mail, and then you gotta wait 3 months for a title. So yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Well, it does if you work for the government, though.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's like the weatherman. You just you don't ever have to be right about anything.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so I'm answering his question about that.
Yeah.
That was an interesting story, but it was kind of crazy.
Mm. It's always concerning when you're worried about where it's at in the mail.
Well, especially when I got a guy waiting for the damn title because I sold him the car. You know,
Mm.
I mean, I know how that works too. I've had before where it takes a year to get a title from somebody that you buy a car without a title and shit. But
Mm.
I would never sell the damn thing if I knew it was going to take this long. So,
Big Block 402 mentioned his truck makes flames, and he's put up that short, and he's got those flamethrowers in the back of it. That's going to be awesome for the burnout at night, watching those flames shoot out.
well, don't they got something that you can put down or spray on your tires that the smoke changes color too?
There is something like that too. They're the one at No Name Nationals. You can actually drive around the area and stuff and do things. The ones that I've seen where they just sit there and just smoke the tires are really boring ones. I think they do the color just to kind of keep people from falling asleep.
Oh, Rooster's talking about your,
Yeah,
what the trans
if
brake.
anything,
I agree.
it,
I agree with them. It's that car needs a little love before you make it go any faster.
yeah, originally, that was the plan, but if anything, that might be a better transmission for the Belvedere. You know,
Yeah, or you can, build up
just
the,
put the original reverse manual valve body back in it.
or like we were talking about, build a Belvedere for your regular everyday car, and sell off the jack pine. You always got that option. Like I said,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, especially when you got somebody like Rooster that loves that car. So, but anyways, what else we got? Australia burnout tires first. Oh yeah, them things are awesome. Watching them guys in Australia do them burnout contests.
Yeah.
So,
They take it serious, man. They come with their A game when they do those.
well, I mean, God, they're doing it with fucking 2,000 horsepower blown motors and little bitty go karts.
Mm. In my mind, that's what I think of when I'm thinking of building the Belvedere is like those Australian burnout blower motors. But what I'm actually going to wind up with is just kind of a nice mild 440 that looks cool.
Yeah. Well,
Making about a little bit more power than the Jack Pine.
like Rooster said, just get that Hemi with that blower from him. There you go. That'd work.
I'm not falling for that again, Rooster. He knows he's not going to let that go.
No, he's never gonna. You know how long it took me to get the hat for my kid's car from him? Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't think he was gonna let it go either, but he finally did.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think the jack pine's fine the way it is. It's just brace it up for what it is now. Catch it up to where it's at right now for power, and then I think there's, like you said, I think we could get the car down to the 660s if we make it in increments and stuff.
Well, you never did.
Definitely the
We never
stiffening's got to be first, and then
never
kind
did
of
anything to it. I mean, it's got my carburetor on it that ain't even, it's jetted for a completely different motor.
yeah,
Um, you got old plugs in it, so they're hard to read. We never checked the timing on the thing, so I have no idea where your dyno guide put the timing.
yeah,
That could be at 40 degrees plus at 3,000. I mean, that's probably, that could be part of your heating issue.
heating problem. Yeah,
So, but it's just time. We got started late this year, and
yeah,
it's partly my fault too. I mean, I got just keep working on cars
mm,
and not go racing instead.
yeah.
So,
But I think if we make a plan, for next year, if
yeah,
Ryan
no,
from Streetcar
there's never
Chronicles is
making
still in
any
here,
plans because they never work out.
yeah. Well, I know like Ryan had that birthday thing down in Texas, and that was in June. And I was talking to Just Mopar Joe, and if he does it again, that would be something fun to kind of road trip down to.
Well, I'd have to set up some run or something, so I'm making some money going down and back. We used to haul,
Yeah,
we used to haul a lot of stuff from Texas up here.
yeah,
So, but you never know. I think them guys should make a run up here. I mean,
mm, yeah. And then
so
just trying to say, because like I said, there's enough of us up here, where we could kind of have like little mini events and stuff too.
well, like I was saying, I was like, it's not actually that you got to do an event. It's just there's enough of these guys, enough people that live up this way or in Iowa. It's just like
Just pick a race day.
just make a day that everybody can make it down to tri-state or something. I'd be more than happy to zip down there with a couple of the cars. I mean, we haven't been to Iowa in a while, and we were talking about it. Actually, we're talking about going to Humboldt.
Mhm.
The beginning of the month on one of their Saturday nighters. But it's just been a few years. I've kind of taken off of racing a little bit because we've been working on the cars so much.
Yeah.
So
Well,
life,
Blake mentioned,
life getting in the way a little bit too.
yeah. And like Blake said, Six Summer hit all those little tracks in Illinois and Wisconsin and Iowa, and that's all within range, like for guys like us. So,
Well, the
like I said,
last time I was in Iowa, I drove through it to go to the World Series of Drag Racing down in Illinois. That was 2 years ago.
mm.
So,
Yeah, Blake, we're hoping to finish out the season. Jeff get his duster out a little bit more, and I wouldn't mind hitting the track again a few more times with the jack pines. So we'll have to try to coordinate some dates. When did you want to go to Humboldt, Jeff? You were talking about that.
it would probably be that first weekend in October because there's only a handful of races left anyways. I know Cedar or Rock Falls has got two of their fun days, which is basically a race test day kind of thing. That was fun last year when we went. So we're
Yeah.
definitely going to go to that one. But I got a bunch of people that want to go to the Iowa one down in
Mhm.
Humboldt. So we're kind of thinking that maybe that first weekend in October.
Yeah.
And it's
So
there's
Blake, you guys
there's
put that
fast
on your calendar too. Um, he said something about Wally races at Tri-State the weekend after No Name, Jeff.
Yeah, that's what the last weekend in.
I wouldn't be able to make that because I go back to work. I think I got my weekend screwed up. No, I just worked this weekend, so I'm off the next two. So I should be off. I should be off for that, Blake, for the tri-state thing. My biggest issue is because I keep renting trailers. That's my biggest expense when I go racing.
Yeah,
As soon as I can get a trailer,
if he'd have just bought one by now, he's spent enough in renting them, he could have bought one.
yeah.
So,
But also spent enough on the Belvedere and radiators that I can't afford a trailer.
they're talking about Tri-State. That was the first time I actually ran a 6-second quarter mile. I went 6:92 down there with my dragster. So that track is awesome, though. All concrete with that upward slope at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Rock Falls a lot. That's probably like the favorite track that I've been to, as far as
Wow.
facilities and
It never
huh?
used to be as nice as it is now, but yeah, they've done a lot better there. So
And a guy with 10-inch drum brakes. It's kind of nice having that long shutdown.
yeah. Well, like you said, if you want to do discs on it, just buy the stuff and we'll get it done.
Yeah, that'll be along the things. Then weld up all the bracing stuff, and then disc brakes will be a nice part, and then just tune it as it is and see
You
where
got you got all winter to work a ton of overtime to.
Yeah, and that's the plan. When I get back, I got to put the toys away and start working. Hopefully, I'll get another bonus this December. That'll be nice. But
That's all I'm waiting for. Winters is when the money's or all that snow or that white stuff falling from the sky is money for me.
yeah,
Yeah. Trying to see if anybody's super pro with a 65 Dodge. Others they're talking about running at Tri-State. Like I said, it was a nice track. I mean, we ran it back, years ago, where we used to run Cedar Falls all the time.
mm,
So, like I said, we just haven't been down, or we kind of quit running Iowa tracks. Oh, probably maybe 5 6 years ago. We were in a group called the Midwest Wild Bunch with the dragsters, so we're getting paid to go to all these racetracks and race. So that's why we were running Canada a lot because they had a couple races in Canada. Well, I mean, they paid you to go. So, I mean, why wouldn't you? So basically, we got paid to go put on a show. And then we had our own little race that we did so we could make some extra money and stuff too on top of it.
yeah.
But I haven't done that for a couple years. So,
Dude, Big Block 402 said he just got done working 12 days straight.
uh,
It's,
I, you
yeah,
know,
it gets old.
some aren't bad
Although I
shit.
have to
Work.
say, I'm blessed to have a job where I can work as much or as little as I want. So
Uh, and I
part of
think,
the reason I got where I am because I just couldn't bring myself to work any overtime, and then now it's like, okay, I remember why I used to do it.
like, and like, yeah, like you said, building that many cars in that short a time, the reason why is because I own my own business. So, I mean, I kind of call my own shots of when I want to work and don't want to work.
And then
So,
being able to just hang out in your garage while you're waiting, for stuff, and
oh,
then
absolutely. It all helps, but I mean, I also don't have a cabin up north and a boat, and I don't go fishing. I don't do nothing. I work on cars and go racing.
yeah,
So and at work. So at least I got a wife that is very understanding and likes going to the racetrack too. So that kind
yeah.
of well, but
Yeah, that helps. It is having a space. I mean, that's the worst part about living in a city, and then you know, just having space to try to do stuff on my own.
well, you do.
Without worrying about making noise. Is it too late to run the air compressor? Is it too late to start the car? Is it too And then my wife works nights too, so like I said, if I'm not working, I got the day off. She's gonna sleep till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'm gonna be having a window between 4 o'clock in the afternoon and about 8 o'clock at night where I can make noise.
Oh, batteries talking about a trans brake stuff. You know, I like the foot brake stuff. I mean, we took the wife's car out. I haven't foot braked a car or raced foot braking in probably 8 years. It's probably been 8 years, 8 9 years, something like that. And otherwise, we've been running trans brake cars or two-step cars with line locks or whatever. I mean, my dragster's a trans brake car too. So I mean, so it's been a while. But I mean, I used to win a lot when we were foot braking cars. Well, I mean, when we went out to Grove Creek that first test day with the car's never been ran, got up there. My worst light was 009. And them guys were so excited. Let's go race. You're doing great on the light. The car's consistent. I mean, even though, the car's never been tested and we're jerking around with it, trying to get it to run faster. But my lights were there. So it's like, that day was so bad out with smoke from Canada that I kind of, I got sick anyway. So we left before the race. But it's weird how the foot braking stuff comes back to you. Especially where you leave on the light. Where with we do a lot of box racing, so we're leaving on the top bulb.
Mm.
So it's fun though. I mean, I get it. A lot of people just don't like it, but I'm kind of both ways. I like the trans brake stuff and the box racing, but it's fun going back old school.
Yeah. And it's fun kind of learning, from the beginning. I get a little bit more. I mean, I thought I was going to have way more seat time than I do, but like you said, I've only really been to the track like 4 or 5 times. And
Five times.
but anyway, yeah, it's an art. Your whole routine before you get up to the lights and stuff. And I felt like that last run against you when I was staging, everything felt good. I still didn't get the carb cleaned out before I pulled up there too good. I didn't shift to neutral to whack it, but as I was inching in and like you were saying, getting on the brake, putting power to it, getting on the brake, putting power to it, loading up the suspension, it kind of started to make a little bit of sense to me that pass, and then we were done for the day.
Like I explained to you, drag racing is I mean everybody's always told me this, especially when I first started. Drag racing is about 90% mental.
Yeah,
It's all about a routine, and you do the same thing every time, no matter what. And if you do it every time the same way, you're gonna be consistent, and you're also gonna be um, more effective at it. I mean, you get people that get rattled, because they're racing the fastest guy there or something. Who cares? You're bracket racing. You just you run your lane and don't
yeah,
worry about him until you're almost to the finish line. You turn and look at him. I mean, if he's there, cool. If he's not, you left and run
yeah.
up a little bit.
Like Blake said, the bulbs too. What kind of bulbs does Grove Creek have? They have LED.
Yeah, both tracks are LED. It's just a different style of LED.
Okay, so Rock Falls was LED too.
Rock Falls is LED too, but I think they got the older LEDs in there.
Yeah,
So
because I was watching that second to last bulb, and when I cut that good light, um, I was almost leaving as soon as that second to last bulb went out, and like you said, just as the last bulb, the yellow was starting to flicker. So, but I remember like not being able to see that when I was at Grove Creek. So I was wondering if there was like difference between the bulbs.
well, and it depends on if they got their blinders on and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of little, every track's a little different. So
Mm,
that's where you figure it out on your first couple test passes, and I mean, they're usually pretty close, but that's why, like I said, it's foot brake racing. You got to be a little more on. Box racing, you're leaving on the top bulb, and then you just dial out how slow you are. So I
mm,
mean, you know, like I said, my old man always says, racing a box is cheating.
yeah.
I agree to an extent, but I mean, it still takes a little skill. I mean, if
Mm,
box racing was cheating, everybody was good, everybody would have them in, and then nobody would, everybody'd be winning.
yeah.
So I mean, it still takes a little preparation, and you know, but yeah, I mean, you'll get it. You just got to keep at it. All the guys that win are the guys that are out doing it every weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said I'd rather be lucky than good, but being good kind of helps too.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
So
like being in your car and having enough seat time to be comfortable with it, I was starting to kind of feel where the car wanted to be at the line. So I'm hoping I can, it's been what, 2 weeks, three since then,
yeah.
and I won't be able to hit the track again till this Friday. But yeah, I really want to try to get a lot of early passes in on Friday so that I can,
Just say, like I said, take your time. Don't let everybody bug you. Just
mm,
get up, do what you know how to do it. Just get up
mm,
there and do your thing. Make sure you clean that damn carburetor out. Neutral.
yeah.
Set yourself, and you pull in, and let her rip. See what happens.
Mm,
I think somebody was talking earlier on one of your videos, something about a red light trophy or something. I was like, I don't
yeah.
want to see you come back with no damn red light trophy.
Well, and I even said in my video, when I went to Rock Falls, I'm kind of like, I'm not going to worry. I'm like, I'd rather. like while I'm doing a test tune, I would rather red light there. So my goal was to try to see how much I could push it to feel where my car was.
Well, yeah, and then
So
your test runs, that's what it's for. Push it
mm,
hard, see where it is, back it off a little bit, and see what happens. I mean, you gotta test it a little bit, but you know, all I'm saying is, you just gotta, I mean, everybody on here that races knows, you just
mm,
don't get rattled. If you just, keep to your routine, do your thing, not worry about who's in the other lane, you should do just fine.
yeah.
And then just, pick on Joe. I mean, his car's slower, so you could get him off the start. You should still be able to beat. You know,
Yeah.
see if he'll do a couple of heads up races. See how that works.
Yeah. Well, he dodged me all last year. I hope he watches
Oh,
that.
you know he's gonna watch it. I'll probably get a phone call. And, hey,
Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to race Joe last year, but he was the popular guy. Everyone wanted to dance with him. And then finally, he comes up to me after I ran Brewer Racing, and I just made the best pass I made down there. I ran I think I ran like a 6.81 or something like that. It was pretty fast. And he's like, "Let's do it." And just as he said, "Let's do it," Ryan Wing comes down on his golf cart saying that they're done for the day. I'm like, "What?" You know.
oh,
So we never got to race. He
bad,
he wasn't really dodging me, but
bad.
it's fun to say
Joe
that he did.
should be in the sixes just barely, but he ain't saying anything. I'm guessing too, unless he sprays it. I hope he doesn't spray that thing. With that cast crank in it, but it is what it is. But
Well, he said he wasn't going to spray against me, and he's going to take his bottle out. So I jokingly said that well, you got to purge the lines too. And he goes, "Well, whatever handicap you need." But I think is the smack he was talking. I think he's got it, like you said. I think he dipped into the sixes. I would imagine.
yeah, but I
I
mean,
don't wanna beat up on anybody, and I don't think I'm that fast, but I'm like a good middle of the pack car,
yeah,
and, but I don't wanna race like, beat up on some guy that's, just got a regular street car. I want the guys like Joe, I want guys with cars that are, like I want the best race I had was against Brewer, and we were, pretty much the same time. He beat me by the tree. We were neck and neck all the way down the track, and I'm like, "That was the most fun I had," and I lost that race, but
so
it just because it was so close.
what are you saying? You don't want to raise somebody like me that just walks away from you?
No, no, actually, the reason I had such a good pass and the reason I got that double O 03 light was because of racing someone I knew that was gonna kick my ass.
Yeah.
I don't, it's like that makes you want to raise up to the occasion. I'm like, shit, I'm racing Jeff now, so I gotta freaking, do everything I can.
Well,
I that's more exciting than like pulling up next to somebody who's got like a Dodge minivan in the other lane.
well, I'll give you a story. I mean, I'll give everybody a story. I've already kind of told you this story. Speaking of lights and friendship. So I had a friend for years, and he raised a Pro Mod Camaro, a big nitrous car. So we raced for years on the street as kids and whatever, and it was always, he'd always beeping up his car to outrun me, and I'd be beating him all the time, and it'd piss him off and this and that. Well, then we started getting into the bigger stuff, and I started racing my dragster, and he had this Camaro, and we went out and raced, and I got him in the group I was in, so he was at the racetrack, and his car wasn't faster than my dragster, which pissed him off, and you know so he's like, okay, fine, we're gonna run, and this was pro tree stuff. And we're gonna run, and I'm gonna beat you on the light. I'll bet you. So we bet a little bit of money on it and stuff. And we go up there, and I 001'd him. And he was so mad. He's like, I can't even beat you on the tree. And I'm like, nope. I mean, there's just sometimes you just got somebody's number, and he was
Yeah.
just that guy. But that's it though, is they bring you up to the occasion, and it helps.
Mhm.
Well,
So I know there's a.
I'm just gonna launch from the burnout box. Bad trip to beats and run out. Hey, that's a good head start, though. That give you a half second at least. Buy back
Yeah.
second round, $8 and free shirt. That'd be hilarious.
When
I don't
when
think that guy would like you too much if you just took off from the burnout box.
Yeah, that was a good one. Um, but yeah, I think there's like 3 cars like around me. Like T's Good Time Garage is coming down with his Dart. That's a big tire car. But Joe said he was running like low 6.8s, maybe 6.7s. But that's
Well,
in California. And
that,
then
doesn't that yellow Roadrunner go pretty good? I mean, that thing looks like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty
I
good.
think he's got it sorted out a little bit better this year. Brad from Poor Boys. That was one of the other cars I was going to mention.
I like that car.
What's that?
I like that car. I think
Oh
they
yeah,
I think
it's
they
really
did a
cool.
good job on that car, and it's to me it's unique. I
Yeah.
mean Peabody's. I had a '69 Super B for years,
Mm.
and Peabodys are all right and stuff, but I mean that one looked like it scooted out there pretty good, and I think they put up a new video with it running. It sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
he's winding it, and then he mentioned like in one of his videos about last year he wasn't really hitting his shift points, and
yeah.
this year it looked like he was hitting it pretty good from inside the car. So I think he's getting faster than he was last year. And the only time I know of him is when he raced Joe, and Joe showed the video. I think he ran like a 6.8 something. So I bet he's down in the 6.7s now.
Yeah.
Just because I think he's getting more familiar with the car, and they probably got it a little bit better sorted out. So
Hey,
I
don't get
think
me
he's going to
wrong.
be in the 6.6, 6.7 range. I think
Don't get me
T's Good Time
wrong.
Garage, and then Joe, like if he dipped into the sixes, I think, and if Brewer shows up again, they were running 6.7s. So
Yeah, and it all depends on the weather too. You might get down there and have beautiful weather with no altitude, and I mean your car's gonna, drop a tenth too. I mean but everybody's will, except for the guys down there because their cars already are running in that kind of altitude. You
yeah,
got to remember at Rock Falls we were 4,000 foot altitude and 93 degrees with 140-degree track temp. Yeah,
yeah,
there's
and that last pass, my car was at 250 degrees.
But even the pass before that, you weren't that hot, and the car went 680, 681, 82, whatever it was, you know. And if you drop that altitude down, I mean, you got to tune for the altitude, but that car's probably running a little fat already, so
Yeah.
it's gonna like if the weather's nice down there and the altitude drops.
I think Ryan Barson said that it was going to be in the mid 80s, but I don't know what like air density or anything yet. But
And then Battery was talking about the level at the track. Yeah, I mean, the tracks are at certain, but we're talking with everything added in with the weather and stuff. I mean, my weather station said we were like 3,800 feet at Rock Falls.
mm.
So, I mean, that's where it all comes into effect. I mean, the cars just slow down when it gets that hot and icky out. But
Yeah,
the
Blake.
best time of the year to run, my best ETs, on especially our door cars, are usually in the fall. So them
Mm,
last two races this year in the fall, when it's the altitude's only going to be, I think I got a time slip around here somewhere where it shows the altitude was 300 feet. I
yeah,
mean, that car ran crazy in that weather, but we also
that's
had to fat the crap out of it because it wanted a bunch more fuel.
and that's why I was so bummed I didn't get to race Joe down there because like at that time that we were going to do it, it was a cooler part of the day, and I was like my car just ran its fast pass that it did with me in it, so I was pretty like, man, this next pass is going to be a little bit cooler. Oh, it's like in the evening, the track. I was hoping
But you're going to need a solid 10th plus just to make up your lights. So
well, and like I said, if anyway,
yeah,
yes. The answer to that question is yes.
I mean, like your good light you had at Rock Falls. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, every squirrel gets a nut once in a while.
No, Jeff, that's just the new me, man. Once I do something, I just keep that. I'm going to be running .003s all time now. That's just my new number.
Yeah. We'll
It's
see.
easy. I don't know what took you guys so long to figure out how to do this drag racing thing.
Yeah, that's part of the fun, though.
But Blake mentioned what he thought Brad was running, and yeah, that's where I kind of put that car. I think it's definitely capable of like the 6.4s and stuff. So I know he's outgunning me, and he's got way bigger tire. We were going to race last year, and he was super cool. Brad's like one of the most laid back guys in the world, and every time he would ask me if we were ready to go, I'd say no because my car was like at 195 to 200 degrees just sitting there, and then I kept chasing that coolant leak. If you remember, I right before one of Joe's races was the first time my car kicked out radiator fluid. Well, because of when we raced at Rock Falls, it kicked out transmission fluid. When
Be
people
right back.
told me I leaked on the track, I thought I leaked transmission fluid, so I was freaking out. So I was just chasing all those little issues, and I think Brad thought I was kind of, I don't know. I hope he didn't take it like I was being like a jerk about not wanting to race, or um, that I was avoiding him or putting him off. I genuinely wanted to race Brad because he's such a cool guy. I was just having all those issues.
Sorry, had to run. My kid. I had to say goodnight to my kid. He's
Yeah,
bed for school.
yeah. But I just wanted to, like make sure that I wasn't going to put any more shit down the track, last year. So I think I only made maybe 3 or 4 passes the whole weekend, or no, 4 or 5 passes the whole
Hey,
weekend. I think maybe like 2 the first day and 3 the second.
the one thing is, Bad Tree said we should put a shock collar on you to get you moving, but I think it'd be better. You know what I should have done when I worked on your car is put a remote control in it. I could have just sent it down there, and somebody could have stood behind you and just gave it throttle.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm going to do okay. I think, you
I'd
know,
be just fine. Like I said, adversity makes stuff better for some
mm,
reason. So anybody and everybody on here that knows that it thrashes to the last second for some reason, it
mm,
makes for a better race day.
yeah, yeah. But no, she sure felt good on that one where I first ran it out of the quarter. It felt like it was still pulling, and like there was more there. But
Yeah, well, I don't know if we want much more there on them 9-inch tires, though, bud.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And that's kind of the cool thing too is, like the cars that are kind of in my class, are guys that got bigger tires like T Good Time Garage and Brad, and then Joe's got them wide 28-10 5s.
so who? I know most of these guys that are in here, but who's from up here? Isn't Bad Tree from Iowa?
Yeah, McGregor, Iowa. They're a couple hours from Tri-State, I think.
Oh,
They're
okay.
on the Mississippi River on the Iowa border.
Makes sense
Uh,
why they're at Tri-State a lot.
yeah, but I don't know where some of these other people are. Big Block 402.
I mean, obviously we know where Rooster's from.
Yeah,
I was just curious. I was like, because most of them, you think you'd see some of the race cars if they're from local up here, but I haven't seen many of the cars at the track since we've been home.
yeah,
So,
yeah, Blake. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm hoping to like hang out more this year, and then
and like I
yeah,
said, guys,
45. He's 45 minutes from Tri-State.
if you guys do the tri-state deal, I will make the tri-state race. I mean, if we're talking about Humboldt, it's still going to be a hit and miss at the beginning of the month, but I mean, if there's a bunch of people going, we'll make it work.
Yeah,
But next year tri-state, if you guys set a date, and especially if you get a bunch of people going down there, I was like, we'll make sure we make it. Maybe by that time I'll have the dragster up and running.
yeah.
So
Well, Jerry's they actually rent a spot, and I think sometimes they even leave their RV and car there. So they're at Tri-State all the time.
I will get for Mark and Rooster coach.
Yeah,
So lacrosse. Oh, he's down by lacrosse. That's hours south of lacrosse. Oh, he's south of lacrosse. I gotcha.
yeah,
Sorry, I need to put my glasses back on, otherwise I can't read this crap. Getting old. If you can't tell, got the grays. So
Yeah, Big Block 402 talks about the events that he's entering. I'm gonna basically be time trialing and just trying to line up with friends. I'll do the bracket race just for the passes. Who knows, what can happen there, but I'm sure I'll be like a first or second round guy. Um, and then they won't let me in the 20 and 5 because they're scared of the car
oh
with that 9-inch slick.
the big Block 402 from Arkansas.
Okay. Yeah, so he's down in
He
there.
don't have that. He don't have as far to drive.
Mm.
Yeah, like I said, the No Name Nationals, I would have been all over it if it wasn't an 11-hour drive. It,
Yeah.
the it's too far for us. You know, it. I don't know. Maybe if I'd have got if I'd have had the gray car put together or something, and I could have got Venom to do a big money race. We'd have put some money down and ran off the trailer or something. Then it would have been worth running all the way down there. But
Yeah.
I didn't get that car done, so I think that would be a good race.
I'd like to see that race.
Two big tire cars going in the fives.
Mm. Did anyone ever hear if he got his car back together? I know he was doing the Hemi, but I haven't heard if he actually got it back together. Yeah, Blake, I was running that issue too. I was sure I was going to start racing in June, just do nothing but making passes in the jack pine all summer, and I'd be a pro by the time I got down to no name nationals. But I let the car set all summer again, and then by the time we dusted it off, it didn't want to wake up. I
Well,
didn't
no,
quite have all the issues you had, Blake. Unfortunately,
no, you just had a completely crusted up carburetor. I've never taken a carburetor apart. Don't get me wrong, I've taken them apart and they've had all kinds of white crud and shit stacked everywhere in it, but not one that was packed full of rust.
yeah,
And what it is this tank. When we switched this tank out, the inside of that metal tank was rusty. So that was the culprit. That's why we got rid of that, anyways. Plus, that thing was so ancient and didn't have a rollover valve in it or nothing.
yeah,
And the pickup was in the front of the tank on the bottom. So when he launched, and didn't have much fuel in it the one time. That's why the car was spitting and sputtering because it ran it out of fuel.
mm,
Wanted to run points, kept breaking. Lots of unwanted money. Yeah, well, that's part of drag racing is the breakage part. Mark found that out so far.
yeah.
So we just had to, I just had to tell him, dude, this is a very expensive hobby. You'll never make your money back on.
Well, I
So,
just thought they were running a deal. If you bought like 5 radiators, you get the sixth one free. I was trying to get the free radiator.
you gotta love doing this stuff. That's why my ex hated drag racing because I spent all my money on cars and racing. So that's why she left, and I traded her in for a younger model, and the new one loves drag racing. So kind of worked out.
Yeah. My wife has always been, that's my deal. She knows I enjoy it, and she's been pretty supportive and like just lets me do my thing. But this last crunch to get the Jack Pine ready for No Name Nationals, I found her limit.
I just want to keep all my rods in the pan this year. Yeah, that's always
Yes,
the
yes.
thing. Trust me, I've scattered a couple motors over the years, and it ain't fun when my big motor, my 604 cubic inch. We had a roller lifter. The spreader bar broke on the roller lifters, and that's an aluminum block, aluminum rod motor. And yeah, it cost me a full set of full set of rods because that little metal piece went and dinged up every rod. But it's even the most expensive parts fail. And that all that one was is the Jessel rockers that are on it. It popped uh, a stud broke. that holds the rocker set down, and one of the push rods popped up and it snapped the spreader bar, and the spreader bar went down through the motor. So yeah, that was a very shitty day. So
Especially nowadays prices, and then the waiting for parts too.
oh yeah, my computer decided to die.
I'm not like Jeff. I don't have like 3 or 4 or 500 cubic inch strokers laying around that I can just throw in a car.
Well, if you'd have caught me earlier, you could have had the wife's motor or the one that's in the wife's car in your car. Out of,
Yeah.
but
I was thinking about like telling people I was going to sell the engine out of the Jack Pine, buy that motor, but like you said, we'd have to totally re-engineer the car. So I think the Jack Pine's a good learning car for me. I think stiffen it up, run it as it is, keep it happy, and then and Rooster even mentioned it. Then I got the Belvedere that's ready to go to that next level. So
yeah. Oh, I agree. I, and I don't agree because I know I'm going to be doing a lot of the work on it, but it is what it is. I mean, we'll get
yeah,
it figured out.
yeah.
So
But like you say, I keep the car where maybe it could dip its toe in the nines, but
yeah, I highly doubt that, bud. That's I think you'd be pushing that car out farther than it needs. I mean, I don't think you'll ever do it on that 9-inch tire, anyways.
no, I meant the Belvedere.
Oh, that'll do it if you got
Yeah,
enough motor. You
yeah.
know, I mean, I went through that car. That car's pretty solid. So I mean, it. Besides the Caltrac stuff that I have no clue. But should be all right. See what happens when you get it done, anyways.
Yeah, Rooster, he has, and one of the cool things too is,
Oh, sorry.
you know,
Not paying attention to my phone here. My computer took a crap, so I'm rebooting my computer so I can actually read stuff.
yeah, Big Block 402. I had the rev limiter chip in my car that first pass because I keep panicking, thinking I need to have it in there,
No, just
but
a read would be probably the first thing.
yeah, that's one of the other thing. I don't pay much attention to my tack when I'm going down the track. So if I could shift consistently, I was trying to get that shift light wired in there, but I never did. So yeah, I think I do pretty good by year, but it's like it's not going to ever be consistent until I get that part down.
Big Tree must be have a small block.
Yeah, he's got a 400. It's a stock stroke 400, I think. He thought it was he was told it was a 451 stroker, but I think it turned out to be
Oh, okay. He's got to have a pretty big roller cam after if he's shifting up around $7,000.
Yeah, I think a 512 would get the Death Pumpkin in a good spot.
Well, the 513 that's in the Aspen, that Aspen will run. We've had that car. Well, it's been in the teens. I mean, here I got a 2620 deal here. I don't know if it's gonna show up real well. See if we can put this on camera. The Aspen ran that. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, there's a bit of a glare, but
And that's what that 512 or 513 in it. And that was a middle of summer kind of deal, but it's been in the mid teens. But
what does the Aspen weigh?
that's a 3,200 pound all steel Aspen.
Yeah, so that's booking for 3,200 pounds.
Yeah, I mean the only fiberglass on that whole car is the hood scoop. So
Blake, do you know how much the Death Pumpkin weighs? I know. Yeah, that 512 that I traded off to get the Jack Pine, that was a monster motor.
Well, and you got to understand that, all your horsepower. I mean, if you guys are going to build something and want to go fast with it, stay away from the junky heads. Don't buy Elderbrox. Don't buy, I mean, me personally, I'd buy, the 440 source ones and have them, ported before I put an Eldebrock head on any big block Mopar. But I mean, if you're gonna do it and want to go fast, I mean, start going buying indie stuff. I
Do
mean,
those Indy heads have the offset rockers?
yes.
Yeah. See,
Well,
the Trick Flow 270s, if you want to get in, I know that the Indies will probably give you more potential further down the road, but those Trick Flow 270s, man, those are an amazing head, and you can use stock rocker placement.
well, and don't get me wrong, I agree, but there's I can't remember what the guy's channel is. I'm sure you guys know who it is. Some guy out in California or something, if I remember right. But he took a set of Indy SR heads off his motor and put some of them trick flows on.
Mm.
I tried to buy it. I messaged them. I'm like, dude, if you ain't gonna use them SR, because they don't make SR heads anymore. If you don't make them SR head or use them, I was like, I'll buy them. Give me a
Mm.
price. I was like, the only reason why I say that is we used to run a 400 or a 500-inch low deck with a set of them SRs with Hemi valves in it, and that motor made 854 horse on the dyno,
Right.
with a stock block.
Well,
So
the reason Gary told me before we even started on my 512 it was going to be over 700 horsepower is because he had just built for his Duster a 512 and he used the SR heads, and that's what he had on that one, and that one made 725. I mean,
Bad Tree is talking about them early Mopar heads. Them are a decent head. I've heard people had some good luck with them. You just got. I'm gonna just throw it out there anyways. I don't like putting people's names out on the deal, but Modern Cylinder Head over in Michigan. If you can get the guy to do them, he does awesome porting work on Mopar stuff. I mean, the Muscle Motors. That's where they used to have all their heads ported. But just kind of FYI, I mean, them early Mopar aluminum heads. If you get somebody to CNC them, they're an awesome head.
have you ever dealt with what's the name of the place? They're part of Lofgren's group where they kind of work with R&R Dyno quite a bit, but I can't think of their name. They're up north of Blaine there, where
Yeah, I know
uh,
what you're talking about. No, I haven't dealt with them. My engine guy's down south.
yeah, because I know they do some porting on heads and stuff too.
Well, like I told
Gary didn't like them though. Gary didn't like those guys, but I think they had a CNC program for the Edelbrock RPMs,
you, yeah, I just
which I
take
thought, well, that might be something I could look into because my heads are all pretty much not touched. So
you don't need to go any faster with that motor, so I would
yeah,
just leave it alone. But anyways,
but I got those other Edelbrock RPM heads for the 440, the other motor for the Belvedere, because they were cheap and at the time the only thing I could get. And I think Gary did have those ported a little bit, and he's going to port match the blower intake. But
yeah, don't get me
the main
wrong.
reason I went with them is because they had 84cc combustion chamber, and we wanted lower compression. But
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would sell them and buy something else.
yeah, hindsight, I probably could maybe get someone who would want them.
Oh, absolutely. There's lots of people that want them Eldebrock heads for their street cars. They're
Well,
just not
the
my thing.
easiest the easiest upgrade to the jack pine would be just to throw a set of trick flow 240s on there,
Yeah. Hang
because
on.
that would bump the compression up to about 12 to 13 to 1 compression as opposed to 11.
Yeah, but you're buying the pistons for that stuff. I mean, just buy the head first and build the bottom end to match the head. But anyways,
Yeah.
Jinko just asked if Muscle Motors is still around. I haven't talked. We bought a lot of motors from them over the years. I mean, my 604 cubic inch came from them. So, or at least all the parts did. We do a lot of our own. I mean, we assemble most of our own stuff. We just buy the parts and whatever. But
They were
anyways,
out of
it's probably been a solid year since I talked to them, and the last time I talked to them, all they were doing was selling parts. So I don't know. As far as I know, I don't think they're doing any motor stuff, but I could be wrong.
everybody's doing that now. They're just selling parts. It's like John Cope. I was like, man, I would really love to buy one of your transmissions. I used to have him on my computer as like a favorite, and I would go there and I would look at all the different transmissions they offered, and they were reasonably priced too, which was like compared to some other places. So I always like had saved, like which version of their 727 I would like to buy, and then all of a sudden that disappeared, and then now he just sells the parts so that you can build your own. I know a lot of you guys do build your own, but for a guy like me, it's like, man, it would be nice just to like have someone that that you trusted that put one together, and who better than to buy it from the source? Because he still offered his, because he used to build that 518. Um, he's got all the parts to do it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, Blake, we might have to talk about that.
what's that?
Well, I think because he just built a co-prepped transmission of that. And he's like,
Oh.
"We'll build the transmission." I'm like,
Well, if you got enough money, I got one sitting on the floor, brand new, that I bought a year ago for my gray car. That's guaranteed 1,200. It'll handle 1,200 horsepower.
yeah,
Trust me, was not a cheap transmission. It's a 727, whatever, all the bells and whistles, and 90% of the parts that are in it are all Cope parts. But
yeah,
it's a guy that I don't I don't know exactly the story, but he knows them. So
yeah,
they buy all the parts from them, and he's down there somewhere by Cope.
yeah.
So, but I bought that tranny, and it's just been sitting there waiting for the car to get put back together. Yeah, it's got all the lightweight stuff, billet everything in it. I mean, it's he even does some trick stuff to the case. He cut the bell housing so you can get in and get the bolts better for the I mean, it's just weird, and but I mean, he guarantees it, and he knows I don't have it put in yet, so he just told me to keep an eye on when I decide to put it in, make a video of it and let him know. So that was kind of nice. 50% left on phone. Yeah, I'm down there too. I think I got about 10. Who builds? Oh, local guy down there builds a trans. Yeah, it's nice to know a transmission guy. I wish I still had a local guy to do them. I have a guy down in Iowa. You Iowa guys might know. He built our dragster power glides. So, but he worked or did some stuff for BTE, and we got the stuff super cheap through him. But good story if you guys got a second. With that transmission deal, we ran down on Mother's Day to rebuild my transmission so we could make it to the race. Yeah, dude's wife was very unhappy. We rebuilt the thing right in his garage on Mother's Day. But moral of the story on that one is I know how to do a power glide. I just don't know how to do a 727. What do you got going there, Mark? Your phone dying too?
Oh, I just moved out of the dining room. Ruth went to bed, and the dining room's right by the stairs. So I just figured the sound's probably running up the stairs. So I
Yeah,
moved to the living room.
you only got a day left. We don't want to piss her off before you go to leave for.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I'm gonna. I can't wait. I got one more shift, and then as soon as I get off work, it's gonna be go time. It's gonna be fun.
So if you can rebuild a carb, you can rebuild a torque plate. I can imagine. I mean, it's a little. I've been in them and I've watched a couple people rebuild them before. I mean, it's just a bunch of rings and gaskets. You just got to remember where everything goes. So, and then you can air test them afterwards, so you know most of the stuff works. So I just tend to leave the transmissions to somebody else. I'll rebuild a motor all day long. Rear ends, I don't care what it is. It's the transmissions. Like I said, I've done a couple power glides, but them are super easy. But besides that, I'll pay somebody to do them.
It's like anything. I'm willing to try to do stuff, and I just like if I pull the 318 out of the truck, my goal was always to like go through an engine and like practice rebuilding it and stuff. Something that I didn't have to worry about, just to kind of familiar. Well, just doing that cam swap on that 440 over at Ryan's. Um, Things make a little bit more sense to me. So, I mean, every time you do something, you just gain experience and more confidence. When you're starting from ground zero, you're not going to jump in and build a transmission that you're going to take on a car that's going to go 10 seconds down the quarter mile.
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta grab a charger.
All right. Yeah. Well, I was my earlier stream with Chris Tessa. I was talking about how carburetors to be like voodoo to me until I watched Jeff kind of rebuild one in his garage there. And when you break it down just to the parts that you're actually going to physically touch or mess with, for like a big, like a moderate or a medium level guy, they're really not that complicated. So, I mean, I'd imagine the transmission's the same way. You guys mentioned that it had like the 7 sub assemblies. Once you're comfortable with each assembly and know how they talk to each other, I could see how get a lot easier. But it's that first one, it's that first overwhelming taking it apart and putting it together. And I've got two 727s. I got the one that I mentioned you guys could use if you needed it. That's the one that was out of the jack pine. That's a reverse manual valve body, but I don't know anything else about it. And that one had some stuff in the pan, but it was still a working transmission, but probably could stand being gone through. And then I got the one with my 400 that I had for the 451. So I've got like a core. I don't know anything about the core though, whether it was working or not. So I got stuff I could, if I had space, I could take it home and take it apart and just kind of familiarize myself with the parts of it. But
Sorry, guys. I gotta plug my phone in before it dies.
oh my gosh, NSB Customs finally showed up. No.
That's the guys with the dart, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty
Lee,
cool dart.
yeah. I beat Lee last year at No Name Nationals.
I'll
I
be
beat
right
him
back.
off the line. I beat him to the 60 foot, and then yeah, he passed me. He passed me at the end, but I technically beat him. Up until the point that up until the point you passed me, Lee, I beat you. I can't wait to see those guys again. Yep, Lee. I was dreaming of it. Yeah, we're gonna race to the 20-foot mark, uh, and I'll establish where that's at. Unless you guys get the car to hook up this year, then we'll have to change it to my advantage again. But
Mark's dreaming
Raker,
again.
what's up?
Well, I should have just sent you down there with Tyler Scarfield still working.
Yeah, what do you think I kept breaking my car, Jeff? You loaned me a carburetor, you loaned me a radiator. I figured if I kept breaking the jack pine, you'd loan me a car.
I don't know about that one, Mark. Parts are one thing. The whole car is a different story.
I'm Johnny Cashing you. I'm taking your car one piece at a time.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Oh man, you guys are almost there. Lee and them are on the road. They're taking all their equipment and both their cars.
Oh, so they're leaving early.
Yeah, they're going to be set up. Lee, I was telling people that I'm probably going to get in around 11 o'clock midnight on Wednesday. We've got Chris and I have a hotel, but I don't know if I'll even bother going there the first night. I'll probably just like catch a snooze in the car until things get rolling. Yeah, the A body mafia is here. Am I the only B body guy here? I think Raker's a B body guy. Raker SS.
Hey, at least it's still a Mopar.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with B bodies. I just don't prefer to race them. I mean, I used to race that my '69 Super B for years, but just the A bodies, I don't know. I've always been into them and would prefer to do them.
Well, I've told you, I don't like Dusters until I met you and seen the ones that you built. Then I always like the one that Gary had in his trailer too. I thought about that one a couple of times, but
Yeah. No,
I
that's
think
in.
in the long run, I almost would have been about even if I would have bought that as opposed to building the Belvedere in the
Yeah,
long run.
yeah, because that one was already half done.
That one's all that one needs is paint.
Yeah. It happens, but at least you got what you like, though. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, I love the looks of the 63. It's just wicked. And then the gray Duster of yours with the big tires. That's when I start liking Dusters, when they start getting that size of tire under them.
that's an interesting car. I mean, I've had that one about 6 years now, so that's kind of what got me back to door cars was that one. And then
Yeah.
after that, I bought pretty much all the other cars because we were racing dragsters for years, So,
Mm.
but it was finally time. My kids started harassing me about racing, so it was finally time to start buying some cars for them to drive. So that's
Blake
kind
was talking about Mopar
of
Action.
talking about what.
Oh, he's talking about Mopar Action magazines when he was a kid, and I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
that's something I miss the most about this modern times is I miss car magazines.
hey, that's what I used to do my book reports on. Is the
Yeah,
car magazines, the stories in the car magazines. Teachers
but it
always
might
ask me
shock you
why.
guys.
It's because that's what I was interested in was cars, not reading, Huck Finn or something.
It might shock you guys, but I always kind of was a car craft guy. The shiny stuff.
Yeah, I think we figured that one out, Mark.
Yeah. Well, I grew up around cars, and like in high school, we always had cool cars, but it was like I always just traded for what I wanted, and I never was really into the racing much. I was more worried about like the wheels and how it looked, and
Yeah, see, me and my friends were always about how fast they went, and then pretty was after the fact.
yeah,
As I got older and had a little more money, obviously pretty became, there too. But
yeah,
when you only had X amount of money to spend, you wanted to put it all in how fast they go.
yeah.
So bodies or paychecks. Yeah, well, Rooster, we're not as old as you, so we didn't have. I didn't collect all my B bodies like my Super B. I should have kept it, but I had that car 10 years and I sold it to buy my first dragster. So actually, there's my Super B.
And the irony is, before I ever met Jeff, that guy had listed that car for sale one time on Craigslist, and I had looked at that car. So I knew which car Jeff was talking about when he started talking about the car. I'm like, I think I've seen that car before.
Yeah, I sold that car. I bought my first dragster, and the guy that I sold the car to, it went to Duluth. The guy got a divorce a month later and sold it to a guy that lives 10 miles from me. And that car disappeared for 15 years. Well, I figured out what happened to it. The guy never took it out of his garage. It looks exactly the way it did when I sold the car, way back when. And he put it up for sale and he wanted double the price that I sold it for. The problem is that he had is I had the fender tag, all the interior out of the car, and all the original parts. So he had nothing to prove it was a Super B, an original Super B. But most people know. I mean, it had the rally dash and it has all the good stuff in it. But I mean, the interior, I got all the original interior and the broadcast sheets and still in the back seat. Well, the guy, I was going to give it to the guy when he originally bought it because he called me and he didn't want to, he didn't want to come get it. I'm like, just come get it. No, I don't want all that stuff. Well, he calls back asking, can I, get that stuff now? Well, this is, 15 years later. I'm like, yeah, I mean, 5 grand, you can come get it all. And he's like, well, why are you charging me now? Well, for one, you're trying to sell a car for double what I sold it for, and it's worth more with the stuff I have. Because I even still got the original motor, the original block for it. And but he didn't want to pay it. I was like, call it storage, whatever which way you wanna. So, but anyways, that's the story on that thing. So,
Yeah, Lee, big man, little car. Yeah, that dart's cool. Like, I hope you guys got that hooking stuff situated in it. They just put the right coil springs and stuff in the NSB dart.
if I get bigger, yeah, B bodies are for you guys that race A bodies and B bodies. The one thing is with a B body is, man, it's like driving a Cadillac down the racetrack compared to an A body. They're just a way bigger car. That was the big thing with racing the Super B because I had a Super B and a Duster, and we raced both of them. Well, I'd jump back and forth between the cars, and the Super B it was double the size. And they went the same speed. Both of them were 1090 cars.
Mm.
But the Super B didn't, it felt like it was super slow compared to the Duster just because of the size difference. Yeah,
I don't know if
race C bodies. Yeah, there you go.
that dude at Rock Falls that had that Fast and Furious that was like a '69 Fury. That was a cool car, and he's running the same speeds as the Jack Pine. He was running 680s.
That thing, they are a tank though.
Yeah,
They're a good demolition derby car.
that's a shame too. I love the looks of the '69 Fury, two door like he has. I would love to have one for a street car for a cruiser.
Yeah,
I mean, just a nice big C body cruiser with a 440 in it, that you could drive everywhere and would
find
just
one with power
float
windows
down the
in it and
highway.
stuff. Big
But
fluffy seats.
yeah,
So yeah, so Big Block 402 said the same thing. They're derby cars down there. Exactly, they're a great derby car. Them Big Furies, them older ones.
yeah.
The rust is a never-ending battle. Trust me, I know all about rust. Cut that shit out and throw it.
Yeah. I was wondering, like too, like Florida, you probably have a little bit worse there, but you're not. You're on the west side of Florida, I think, right? I think anywhere around the ocean, it's probably going to be a little bit worse.
Sorry, I'm trying to set my phone up here. Didn't bring my phone stand down, and it's kind of hard to prop it up with a phone charging cord in the bottom of it.
Just like when I was at Mopars in the Park, there was a beautiful burnt orange Fury, and it had the hideaway headlights, and it was like this had the sport bump like hood treatment, and the interior in that thing was amazing. Yeah, black interior, looked really comfortable and cushy, and just the design of the interior and everything. It was like, man, that'd be a great car to have just to drive around.
Well, J-Bo was talking about some C bodies are only 400 pounds over an A body. Absolutely. Um, my Super B, when we weighed that car was only just over 3,200 pounds. Most of my Dusters, that we race are right around 3,000. I've had them lighter than that, but if they're all steel. But yeah, you can gut pretty much anything down. I don't know what is that. What does Jack Pine weigh? Did you weighed it, Mark?
3168.
And that car's got a lot of steel in it yet. I mean, yeah, it's got fiberglass fenders and stuff on it, but I mean, that's got a heavy, heavy roll bar in it. That's still the old school, the 1 3/4 stuff,
Mm,
and it's all plated. So I mean, there's some weight you could still gut out of that car, but you know,
mm,
again, it's bracket racing. You don't need to be the fastest guy on the racetrack. You got to be the most consistent.
mm. All 318 ones here. 318 will run. Yeah, see you later, Tim.
Which one's that one? 318.
318 will run. Have you ever seen his channel? He's pretty good
What
sized
co-
channel.
what color car is it?
He's the guy that has like the dusters and the drag truck. He like
What color's the
does
Duster?
uh he's got a few of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to him. It's a really good channel.
I
He
probably
likes
have.
taking
I'm
he
horrible
likes
with
taking
names.
everything he has and working it to where it's the best that it can
Well,
be, but he's not like a high end. He's a great racer, but
who,
he
bad
doesn't build like full blown race cars.
Bad Tree knows who's the one with the green Duster.
That's Jerry Racing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, couple of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. But
Well, that's what I figured is if we could get something together for Tri-State. I'm assuming them guys are the ones that are all down there.
yeah, they're the ones I told that they even rent a space to keep their RV in their trailer.
Who's the one that bought that Duster from the guy down south of us? You know the parts guy? You remember who I'm talking about down in Cannon Falls?
Oh, Blake and those guys know that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, they bought it from Alan
they bought that maroon
from
thing.
Zembroda.
Yeah.
Hey Blake, that maroon duster that you had in one of your videos down at the track when the Death Pumpkins rear end differential blew up. That duster, we both me and I remember you looking at a blue one, but that maroon one with like the silver bottom. Um,
The one they had like a fiberglass back end on it or something, tail
yeah,
panel.
I think it's your buddy Nick's duster that you had in one of your videos.
Yeah,
We, we me and
I looked
me
at
and
that
Jeff
car years ago.
Yeah, me and Jeff know that car because, like, we both have bought parts from Alan down there in Zembroda. And he does a lot of stuff. He had a really nice, like, 65 satellite,
Yep.
tubbed car that he was selling for a while. That was a beautiful car. I saw that car reposted with they put some lettering on the door, and they were asking twice as much as I know he probably sold it for.
No, I looked at that Duster a few years ago, and I mean, he wanted too much for it at that point, but the last thing I needed was another car, another race car. So
Yeah. 'Cause, I remember when I went down to him last time, he had that Duster in his shop.
is that Duster a big block car? I thought that car was originally a small block car, right?
It might have been originally a small block, but it had a 383 in it, I think.
Oh, I thought it had a small block in it. When I looked at it, I thought it was a small block, but I could be wrong. That's
Oh,
how
it's a 440.
that's how
It's actually
interesting
got a
that was.
440 in it now.
Yeah. No, that parts guy, he was the
Mhm.
one, the tunnel ram that's on the kid's Duster.
Yeah.
That's a brand new M1 low deck intake. I got that from him for $150. I stole that thing.
Well,
Brand new.
before I bought those super comps from you, I knew he had a set because I had been down there and I bought some parts.
He still does. He's still trying to
Yeah,
sell them things.
yeah. Well, it's a bit of a drive to Zembroda, even for me.
Well, he does sell parts pretty cheap though. I bought some really nice aluminum valve covers from him and stuff like that. But I mean, the guy's decent. You can kind of wheel and deal with him, but
Oh
most
yeah,
of the bigger Mopar parts guys, I mean, they're interesting to deal with. I mean, they know what the stuff's worth. Put it that way.
yeah,
But some of the stuff is so ridiculous.
yeah. I
So,
think he sells parts overseas too, like body parts and stuff.
what do you think your 63 weighs as it sits right now? I'm guessing that car with nothing else in it, but what I put in it, I'm guessing that car's probably in that 3,200 pounds. Because I mean, I got 40, well, 30, about 36 pounds of welding wire in
Hey now, Blake saw that car when it was listed on Marketplace. Uh, but yeah, the pictures. You know, the guy who had it out in California fiberglassed over the top of the floors. So when Tom Hoffman went out there to pick it up, he thought it had good floors in it. And he brought it all the way back to Minnesota. And when I was looking at the car, I thought the same thing. I'm like, man, the floors are perfect in this thing. And he's like, no, they're not. He goes, they are not perfect. Here's metal for the front pan. I got metal for the back, and here's a trunk. And I'm like, it doesn't even need that stuff.
Yeah, until we started ripping big patches of fiberglass off the floor and seeing all the rust holes.
And then it's like, well, good that he gave me the front, the rear, and the trunk, but there was no middle piece. And that was the piece that we needed yet. So that to be complete floors.
I made it work though. It's solid all the way through. So I mean, we
Yeah,
patched it
oh
all
yeah.
in and made it work good. It looks good. It's all
I'm
sealed
so
up.
happy with it. I am so happy with that car. That's you know,
And you got the old school look. It's jacked up a little in the ass end. I at least talked you out of a little bit of it, and we lowered it a little bit.
yeah.
But no, there's still some work, but that'll be an all right car later.
Mm.
Win me some of that red light money.
Tim
So,
72 Nations had not.
what's the deal with this red light money? So they're paying
So
whoever got the
Blake
closest to the 000 on the red light side.
so Blake nicknamed Ricky Jerry Red Light Ricky because when he first got into racing and he would be going to Tri-State, he was showing videos where he kept red lighting. So it got to be kind of a running joke, Red Light Ricky, So yeah, he's gotten better, of course, but in honor of the joke, they created a trophy called Red Light, the Red Light Trophy, and the way you win the trophy is you have to have the most embarrassing red light, like at the like let's say just Mopar Joe red light racing me, like that would be embarrassing for him, and so whoever has the most embarrassing red light,
So
it
it's not the guy that just leaves on the top bulb and gets like it doesn't even register a red light.
No, you can't win it by that. You can't win it by, doing that. It has to be like, like
Like
there's got to
Joe
be,
losing against you, and it would be like the worst case scenario kind of thing.
yeah,
Not the
yeah.
beat on you, Mark, but you know what I'm saying.
No, no, that's why I use the reference, and then an experienced guy like me, and then you get somebody with experience, and then they red light. Like
Yeah,
if 318 will run red lights against his first guy at the bracket race.
yeah. Oh, I get it. That makes sense. Makes it more fun. Oh, boy, you guys all got long drives. I'm
Yeah,
assuming everybody's leaving tomorrow to be on Wednesday.
yeah. Like I said, I'm not leaving till Wednesday morning, but that 318 will run guy is he goes to the Humboldt track, Jeff.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll see him there.
Mm.
Cold and shit. It'd be nice if it was cold down there for you guys.
Mm.
Colder
I,
weather,
w-
the cars run faster.
I was hoping for like upper 70s, but I think it's going to be mid 80s.
Yeah. Sorry, my phone. I'm kind of like cut off here.
Mm.
Next time we do this, I'll have to be a little more prepared and coming on at the last minute, and then
Oh,
you've ran in a whole hour longer.
yeah.
It was 90 degrees when we were in Florida. Yeah, but it
Yeah.
was 90 degrees and probably muggy.
Mm. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And like I said, the only reason I'm entering the Braga race is just to make passes. But I got my hopes. I hope I like at least win 1 or 2 rounds. That'd be nice.
Hey, that's what you'll have to get me, Mark. That's part of what um I'm charging you for taking care of your shit. They got uh like a Joe. I want a Joe T-shirt.
Oh, okay,
He
cool.
should be giving me one anyways, but I'm not like that and just ask for one. But you
Yeah.
have to get one for me.
Well, I was gonna make another run of Jack Pine shirts too, but I just give those away, to people that that I like and stuff. I'm not trying to sell those.
Yeah, 57 ain't cold. That's still T-shirt weather.
Yeah, that's
I think it was down in the 50s here a couple days ago in the morning.
yesterday morning. It was like felt pretty crisp. They actually let me off work at like about 5:30.
Oh, that's why you went home and went to bed instead of coming and getting your car.
Yeah, because I went, and then if I would have just got off, I would have done that. But I wound up sleeping until like 11 in the morning.
So just curiosity, how do you know how many people you got in here?
On my screen, it shows I got like 10 people.
Oh, 10
There's a
live.
little icon up at the top. There's a clock that says live, and it shows me how long I've been on, and 10 people.
Yeah, I gotcha. Oh, is that all you've had on here most of the day, or with the early?
I think because it was a little bit earlier when me and Chris were on there, maybe I saw 15. But a lot of people checked in just say hi and then kind of bailed. And I
Yeah.
was trying to sort through technical stuff, so that you always lose a lot of people when you do that kind of stuff.
Well, now you know how to
Well,
do it, so it'll be a little better next time. Maybe we can get somebody that can put more than 2 people on their deal, and I'll jump on or something.
yeah, the people that do the StreamYard, like I said, you need a home computer to do StreamYard.
To see what my 65 Coronet will weigh with a chromoly cage in it. The chromoly cages, I mean, real honestly, aren't extremely lighter than all steel cage. A mild steel. Maybe half ish, maybe a little. They're probably a little heavier than half, but just got to find somewhere else to lighten it up if it's too heavy for you. It's kind of like my Aspen. That one's an all steel car, and that car's back half, but we didn't do the aluminum floors in that car. I just resheeted it with 18 gauge. So I mean, it's just it's all steel, and that weighs 3,200 pounds, and that's a mild steel cage in that one.
And I like the tilt front too. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely, bad tree. I'd do it. Get some more questions going. Me and Mark talk all the time, so it's hard to.
Yeah, Jeff's always asking me advice about cars, and
Yeah, kind of like you asking me about how to do videos and stuff. Not a clue, buddy.
well, I only use my phone, man. I wish that's the other reason I'd love to get a computer. I'd love to see what I could do if I actually had like some good editing software. But like you said, it's what's it cost to get a good computer these days? Almost $2,000. Well, I'm not going to spend that on a computer. I'm going to spend it on cars.
Exactly. Put it where it belongs.
Mm.
You know, that's why all my friends give me crap because they got places up north that they go to and do all this stuff. I was like, nope, it's all about drag racing, cars, and car shows, and that's just my thing, and that's what I'll do until I can't.
That's
So,
where um,
what's that? What you got going on, Mark?
well, I just thought I heard somebody say
Oh,
something.
oh.
Shouldn't be.
Uh, Give me 1 second. You can talk to yourself for a minute.
Yeah. Well, at least I'm pretty good at that. But the 63 Belvedere, aka the NSB Dart Killer, should hopefully come online sometime next year. Yep.
Must have ran out of stuff to talk to yourself about.
Well, no, I was just I was joking. I was teasing NSB that the 63 is called the NSB Dart Killer, and then Blake was wondering what his car would run. It's that orange uh, Dart with a 30 over 400 flat top pistons, mystery cam. That's part of the Goocher there. 4500 stall and 410 gears with an 850 carb. Do you have an estimate on how much it weighs, Blake? Because it's got like Lexan windows and stuff in it. I think it's all steel except for a fiberglass hood.
What are you talking, that Dart?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that thing's probably right around the same weight as the Duster. It's a big tire car, so it's got a little more tire under it. But if I was a betting man, I'd say somewhere in that 331.
Oh no, I'm talking about Blake's Dart, not NSB. I changed gears on you.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's almost kind of what Joe's running. I think. I mean, he's just basically got. Well, the only thing he's got is maybe the aluminum heads, but I mean, his is a stock crank 400. And like, how much does your Dart weigh compared to Joe's car? You know. Well, thanks, Jabo. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try. You know, I really like photography, but sometimes I'm in the mood, sometimes I'm not. And then I think any YouTube person can say that there's videos that you're like super proud of, and then there's others that you just put up to put up, you know, for content.
NSB, they had it down to 2750. I could imagine that. I mean, especially if you got a Lexan and everything in it. I mean, that's a pretty light car.
Mm-hmm.
Iron head protected open chamber.
Did you see Blake's combo up there?
Yeah, it says iron-headed ported open chambers.
Yeah, but he was asking what you thought his car might run because he's never been able to get down the track yet until he gets down.
That's just a stock 400, right?
Yep, 4500 stall, 410 gears, 850 carb.
What are the
30.
iron heads? Are they 906s or are they 452s or? And what kind of cams in it?
That's what he doesn't know either. You know.
Well, the only thing I can go off of is we used to have a 71 Demon that this had a 440 in it, so it's about as close as I can get. But it was a 440 with stock 906 heads on it with just a 509 purple shaft in it. And that car was pretty light. It probably only weighed like 3,000 pounds. And that car would run, it'd run 17s in the eighth. It was like an 09 was maybe its best, but it always run like 711, 712. So, but that was basically a stock motor. Just pop it out of the car, cleaned it up, and shoved the cam in it, and shoved it in the car. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Them 509s are awesome. I have one sitting here that I've had for 20 years. Actually, more than that. It's almost. I got it for my birthday back when I was in my 20s. Put it that way. The old man gave it to me for one of my street cars, and I still have it brand new in the box. All in its goo that it comes brand new, and that's what we're putting in the old lady's 451.
Mm.
But they are a good race cam. I mean, I've raced them in lots of stuff. If it's at least that. But anyways, that's what I'm guessing. I would guess it'd be somewhere in there. Maybe untuned, it's probably going to run 20s, 30s, something like that. That's why, don't get me wrong, I'm surprised Joe's car was only running what it was running. I was guessing a little more on that, but maybe it's just a different altitudes or something.
Those are his sandbag numbers.
And you never know. It might be. I don't know.
Nacho just looks like a fun car to drive. Just a nice revving small block and at 430 gears. It's got to be street.
A 790 is like a 13, 13-second car, something like that. So yeah, I would, if you're running, I mean, if you get into the teens, the O's, and I mean, a 7 flat is a 1090 11 flat. What was that? I just got a neck brace delivered.
Yeah. I have those Jeg style bucket seat or race seats and a new carpet that I was going to put in the jack pine too. So I was going to have a second seat in there. I think those two seats would be lighter than the seat that's actually in it. But yeah, it'd be fun because like when I go, like if I was gonna go this year, but when I go to South Dakota and my nephew comes along, it'd be nice to kind of take him, let him start learning how to make passes in the car.
So NSB is gonna have a neck brace delivered. What do you got a Hans device coming or something? Or
But he
just,
won't have to turn his head so hard.
or just a collar.
Yeah.
Must be just a collar.
Yeah. But he won't have to turn his head too hard. I'll be right out in front of him where he can see me.
Well, when you're bracket racing, you would be because you get a head start.
Yeah. Brackets are wimps. I'm gonna beat him heads up, man to man. It's just like prison. You got to find the biggest, meanest guy there and kick his ass. So I'm going to start with Ali at NSB.
Well, I hope everything I did to your car works for you because you're sure talking a lot of shit.
I love talking shit. It's backing it up that always kind of sucks.
Mopar Joe here say what?
That Lee was the baddest guy there.
Oh, I get you. Hey, and don't get me wrong. He's probably pretty good and everything because he races all the time. But you know what? It's pretty hard to back anything.
Yeah. So yeah, Joe even said that he was like, this year, he goes, there's probably gonna be a bunch of people that beat me this year.
Well, the problem is, you also got pressure. You're thinking about that shit. Like I said before, drag racing is 90% mental.
Yeah.
If you ain't mentally in it, you ain't gonna do shit.
Well, mentally, I'm 10 foot tall. In real life, I'm 5'8".
Thinking, that's exactly right. It's a drag. Anything can happen.
And it almost happened to him in our race because he had trouble on the line. That's the only reason I was out ahead of him. Luckily,
I got a feeling, Mark.
Luckily, he had me covered.
If that car's as fast as it looked like in the videos, it's going to look just like me walking away from you.
Yeah. I think it's going to be worse than that. It's pretty sad when you're on your fastest pass you've been on in a long time, and it's feeling so good, and you're like, "Man, my car's just working. I'm on a run," and you're just but the whole time in your peripheral vision, there's a car that's just gapping you and going even farther away. It's kinda like, taking the hottest girl to the dance and her sleeping with someone else.
While they're talking about that 18-second bans. Hey, one of the hardest things to do is race slow guys. I was
Mm,
like, here's a good story for you guys. I was up in Fargo. They got a quarter-mile racetrack up there that we used to go to. We were up there for the Midwest Wild Bunch race, and I just happened to get in bracket one, anyways. Well, there's this guy that was in bracket one with an S10 pickup, bone stock, and guess who I got first round? So he got the lead. He was dialed. It was like 24 seconds, something like. I mean, it was crazy slow. He went through the traps at like 78 miles an hour, and my dragster at that time was running like 720s, and I was doing like 190. So I got to sit there. We guessed him. He was almost at 1,000 foot before I got the lead. So it was crazy to sit and wait that out.
yeah, that 318 wheel run is the guy that had the black van that Joe had to beat for the bracket, championship last year.
Oh, okay.
So, I actually had, video footage of, I was down at the end of the track for that race, and it was funny because it was like, "Oh my gosh," because the van just kept coming and coming and coming, and Joe just was still sitting on the line.
Well, really, that's kind of, for especially guys that don't race a lot, the hardest
Mm,
thing to do is wait, you know. And like I said, it's crazy to wait that long and then, actually get a decent light or not red light. I mean, that's kind of the hard one is most of the guys I see that race some super slow cars, they red light against
yeah.
them. So,
Well, like in my case, I think I raced a four-door Dart, the first one, and he broke out is the only reason I got to go to the second round, and, then I raced a modern Mustang, Mongrel's Garage, and, he was out on me a ways too. I had to wait and wait. And of course, I dialed close to the time that I ran. But then when you sacrifice my tree, like what I left at, that's what he beat me by. But
hey, we got a
that's
guy.
why I was asking you, like, what times to dial when I go to do the bracket race. If I should dial my time and like, because it still doesn't matter if like put in like a 7.2 or something, and then if my reaction time's still off, I'm not going to win. So.
Well, you can stand. Yeah, I mean, you could play the game whatever which way you want. I mean, there's people that sandbag. I mean, we used to do it. I mean, I had a class that we could run in that you couldn't run. We'll just say it was 7:08 mile. You couldn't run faster than 7:0 to be in
Mm,
that specific class, or you had to move up to the faster guys. Well, we
yeah.
didn't want to. Well, we had a car that run 660s.
Mm,
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously you're sandbagging, you lead out on the guy and there's specific ways and the guys that have been drag racing for years know how to line up your car at the starting line so you know exactly when you're even with them. I mean, I used to use tape on the passenger window, put a
mm,
couple pieces of electrical tape up and line it up with something on their car, a mirror, whatever. Well, you just run them down and then you'd put that tape right on that mirror and then right at the end you just blip it.
mm,
About 95% of the time you'd beat them.
yeah.
But it pisses everybody off when you do it because you're not supposed to sandbag them.
Yeah.
But anyways, Bad Tree was talking here with a Corvette that ran 1480s. We used to have a guy up here that literally came to the racetrack with a Plymouth Breeze bone stock thing, ran slow as shit. He won all the time with that thing. It was so hard to be. I mean, he was just that good with it. It was so slow, but it was consistent. And I mean, he would run it with the air conditioning on, which I mean, anything would slow everybody, slow you down and make you inconsistent, but just not with him. Finally, thank God he got bored with it and went to a faster car, and it was easy to beat him with the faster car. So sorry, I'm trying to read some of these. Do you
Yeah.
think he's asking any other questions? So that NSB, that Super B you got, what is that in what is that, a 383 car originally or a center console car? I don't know if he's still on.
I know he painted it the original colors, but I don't remember. I think it's a bench seat stick, if I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people have dropped out. We're down to like about 6, so I don't know if it's still
I got
there. Oh,
so
there's
that's
a here it is.
383 auto. It is a 440 bench seat 4-speed car, huh?
Mm.
That's a nice car.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine originally was a 383. It had the dual scoop, ram air stuff on it, and it was a bucket seat center console automatic with obviously the Super Bs all have the rally dash in it. So yeah, I'd like to have another one. I got seller's remorse for years on selling that car. I should have never got rid of that car. He forgot to tell you about the NOS. Hey, nitrous makes horsepower, that's for sure. But
Mm.
trust me, I've blown a few motors up running it. If we're in my garage, I could show you a rod out of one of the motors I blew up on nitrous. Twisted that thing off.
Well, that's the reason we reorganized my trunk, the jack pine,
Oh,
to
for
fit
what? Joe's
two
part.
nitrous
Joe's.
bottles.
Oh, I just figured it was for Joe's parts if he has to run nitrous to beat you.
Yeah.
They gotta pick up the rods for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, never seen another one of the B7s, white top. Yeah, that's an interesting combination. Mine was exactly the way it was. That was the original color of the car. I mean, we repainted it, but it was that copper color with the black stripe and no vinyl.
Do you see Jabo's comment there?
I think there's anything.
Think there's anything to an alternator field disconnect switch?
Yes and no. I mean, the alternators do. I mean, we ran them. We ran them in the past too, but they suck a little bit of horsepower. But again, you're bracket racing. You know, what do you care? You got to kind of look at it that way. I mean, yeah, it's kind of nice to run that little extra tenth here and there. A couple hundreds, but when you're bracket racing a car, I mean, you're after consistency. I would rather have the alternator running the whole time charging my battery. And if I guess that's what my opinion on it. I ruined it with the red button on motor. That would have been. Yeah, nitrous is a bad thing, man. Especially if you don't got it set up right.
Mm.
Huh.
But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun coming up. I talk about
Hey, hang on. I'm going to answer Raker's question for you. Um, the U.S. car steel is what we used for his spring relocation kit. That's the only one I use. The reasoning for it, I mean, is their front hangers are so easy to put in because they bolt right in. Don't mean you don't do your measurements and stuff on them to make sure you got them in their square, but they just make life so much easier. All the other ones don't have the bolt-on tab, so you literally have to um, kind of measure, straighten, and then tack them in. I mean, they're you could still do them. You're paying U.S. Car Steel's price for their convenience, but they are a nice product. I mean, I've used them on 7, 8 cars that I've done, and that's the only ones I'd buy.
Yeah, the mini tub kit was from them too. I just bought the whole stuff from them.
Don't get me, and then that mini tub kit that Mark's talking about, their last 2 mini tub kits that I got, they cheaped out on them. They used to be pressed, where they had the lip and everything, and now they're tack welded together. So you gotta weld the seam that they bend up. I just weld it fully all the way around, but it's just some extra welding. They changed that for, I'm sure it's cheaper for them to make them. They're still a good deal, but I mean, they used to be nicer.
And I would recommend their radiator core support.
Yeah, only if you got a car that flexes really bad and breaks radiator.
I've been looking at them lately. I was just wondering. uh,
And again, it's all my opinion, but I mean that's what I seen just putting the cars together that I've done. So
hmm.
they are expensive though. The prices went up on everything. I mean, I don't know about all you guys, but a lot of the stuff that I bought 5 years ago is like double the price now.
Yeah, but as far as like frame connectors, the Belvedere already had some old school welded in ones where they went into the rear frame and then into the cross member, the front torsion bar cross member, and then welded it to the floor, spliced through the floor.
Me personally, I don't even buy frame connectors. I go to my local steel place and buy some, 3-inch by 2-inch rectangle, mild steel and make my own. I mean, there's a few guys that like them U.S. Car Steel ones that go along with the floorboard and stuff like that, but they're such a pain in the ass to weld upside down and get that whole. It's a frame tie. Just weld it together and tack it to the floor where it touches and call it a day. And trust me, a 20-foot length of 2x3 steel is half the price, if not less, than buying them ones that are already made for the car.
But that was kind of the nice thing about the Belvederes. It already had those, and then it already had the front disc brakes and the rear 11-inch drums. So
Yeah, the 2x2 works all right. I use the 3x2 because, especially on the A bodies, because it'll actually fit around the outside of the frame rail on the back. So you can kind of cut it just right to where you just slide it right on there, and then it welds on, and then you know, you can make an option of what you want to do on the cross member. If you want, I've cut them to where I've put them through the cross member and then butted them back to the frame rail, and then I've welded them right to the cross member. It just kind of depends on what you're going to do with the car. If like my gray car, them ones are. I mean, that car is pushing a lot more horsepower, so them ones go all the way, go through and into the frame rails and then weld in, to the front. Obviously, it's a back half car, so I mean, it's welded right to the box that goes across for the rear half section. But that one's even got some extra supports in it too that are welded in. Absolutely, make your own frame connectors. They're so much cheaper to do, and you can make them exactly the way you want them.
and the Jack Pines just got the bolted in Mopar Performance ones.
Yeah, that need to be welded in.
Yeah.
That's part of your flexes, some of that stuff. So
It's just an old street car, you know. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. My battery's about dead here, and probably going to wind up ending this here pretty soon.
I was gonna say this is the longest, one I've ever been on. Oh wait, this is the first one I've ever been on.
But yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
Thanks for
ba-
coming
but
on, Jeff. And
but Battery, when you want to do one, you let Mark know, and I'll jump on too.
yeah, definitely have a good time. And then a lot of you guys I'll be seeing here in the next week. And but yeah, we'll be doing more of these.
Sounds good. Talk to you guys later.
Bye, everybody.